Well, thank you for a really, really good briefing. That was really interesting to hear about your work with the other AONBs. Now, our work in areas of outstanding natural beauty is often dry. It doesn't engage with people. People usually call us ANOBs or some variation on that theme. It's very planning orientated, so we write management plans, but you're really trying to bring the passion and the emotion and the sort of art into these landscapes, which are outstandingly naturally beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you do that, and how's it going at the moment?
Well, first of all, I think, we back in 2005, one of the projects, which is the festival Inside Out Dorset, we were asked to run that by a group of arts promoters that wanted to reach new audiences. And so going out of buildings and into urban and rural spaces was a way to reach a new audience. And through that process, we have met with various landowners and stewards, and the Dorset AONB being one of them. And I think for us, what was really important was the group of people. So this is all about people, and what you're doing is wanting to connect people. And for us, it is about people relationships. So actually having our first AONB, the Dorset AONB, those people who welcomed us. So for us, it was being able to actually have time with them to say, well, this is a fantastic landscape. We'd like to bring an audience to it. We'd like to animate it. And the first step was actually them welcoming us. And then the next step was about us learning from you as an AONB about where we could and couldn't work, and why we might not be able to work in that area, and then inviting artists and working with artists who are inspired by the landscape to come and share that. And there's a passion and enthusiasm from people through the artwork that is infectious in many ways, and I think the wonderful thing, for example, about being part of the South Dorset Ridgeway Landscape Partnership was that the program manager said, well, we do the interpretation boards, and you do them very well. We want you to have a connection, so that we're not asking you to do literal interpretations. We want you to connect people emotionally. So and often people will go away and reflect on it. They might not, if it's something that's say abstract, for example, be it an installation or a performance, it stays with people. We don't work in permanent public art. We work with permanent memories. That's how we work. People's memories of being in a space. So they may have walked past an AONB and not known it was an AONB, and we've actually invited them in, and they've had an experience, and part of that is knowing that it's an AONB, and that plants a seed, and you can go away and you can say, well, find out a little bit more about it there, and it starts them off on a little journey. We also have audiences that of course know that it's an AONB, and I spoke to Tom Munro, who runs the Dorset AONB, and a team of people looking at the management plan. And the concern was that, do enough people know that they're in an AONB? And my feeling was that actually, if you live near one, you know that that is a very special place. You might not spend time in it. So the key thing is, how do we invite people in that they feel comfortable, that they can? And sometimes, that is by going out to them, doing workshops and saying, you've got an invitation to come in here. Putting on transport. Some of these rural places are very, very difficult. So some of that infrastructure there is, let's make it easier for you. You might not have a car. You might not, there may not be a bus route to this particular area. So for us, it's can be very, very practical as well as artistic. All of those things, behind an artistic work and commission is a huge amount of practical work, like the work that you do at the AONB. So.
Well, next year is the 70th anniversary of the Act of Parliament,
yep.
which is great, but we're really keen next year to be celebrating natural beauty,
yeah.
and what that means, whether it is an area designated for that, or whether it's a national park, or whether it's just a local area. So I hope we can work with you next year to really get into that. celebration of natural beauty. I'm sure there'll be opportunities.
I hope so too, and I think this is the third national conference I've been to with you all here, and to see the focus. There's so much creativity and arts actually integrated into your conference. It's fantastic, because I think, you know, you're working with the various individuals that we have so far on, now outside the Dorset AONB into the other areas across Norfolk, Chilterns, North Wessex Downs, etc. It's so many people who've got family members who are involved in the arts, or hobbyists, etc. So it is, we come together because we like the landscape, whether we come from it from professionally scientific or we come from it an artistic. I think there's a commonality around a passion for place, and hearing the different people today and from the different AONBs who are already working with artists. And I'm very keen later today to talk to more people about, well, if you haven't embarked on that journey working with an artist or an arts organisation, this is how you could start. You can start very small and just start a conversation. It is about sort of relationships.
Well, I think you're doing wonderful work to join together those things that's been unnaturally separated, namely landscape and understanding of the arts. Thank you, Kate, very much. I look forward to your briefing later on.
Thank you very much.